My wife slammed her laptop shut so fast that she nearly knocked over her coffee. I remember that sound more clearly than I remember what I ate that day. That sharp clap of plastic. The startled look on her face. The way she immediately smiled afterward, that weird, delayed smile people make when they realize they've reacted too strongly. Jesus, you scared me. I had literally just walked through my own front door. For a second I stood there holding my car keys and staring at her. Then I laughed because what else was I supposed to do? Sorry for entering my own house. She laughed too. Too loudly. At that moment I wasn't suspicious. Not really. I wish I could say I immediately knew something was wrong because maybe I'd feel less stupid now. But I didn't. I was happy. Or at least I thought I was. We'd been married for 9 years. 2 kids. A house that constantly needed repairs. Busy schedules. School pickups. Weekend grocery runs. Nothing glamorous. But normal felt safe to me. Normal felt permanent. I had no idea my life had already started falling apart before I even opened that door. I work in logistics for a manufacturing company. Nothing exciting. Numbers, emails, meetings, deadlines. The kind of job people stop asking questions about after 30 seconds. My wife Emma used to joke that I talked more passionately about warehouse efficiency than I talked about romance. Maybe she wasn't completely wrong. Life had settled into routines. I woke at 6. Drove to work. Came home exhausted. We'd eat dinner with the kids, watch some TV, complain about bills, then fall asleep. Comfortable routines can trick you. You start believing routine means stability. Emma and I had built our life slowly. We met at 24 through mutual friends. She had this sarcastic sense of humor that caught me off guard. She was the kind of person who could make a bad day feel smaller. Over the years I loved her in quieter ways. Fixing her car. Bringing home her favorite snacks. Remembering little things. I thought love became less dramatic with time. Less fireworks. More consistency. I genuinely believed consistency was enough. Now I keep wondering if she had started disappearing emotionally long before I noticed. My colleague Daniel joined our office around 3 years before everything exploded. Good-looking guy. Confident. Funny in a way that made people gather around him naturally. He had stories for everything. Divorce story. Travel story. Drunk college story. Everyone liked him. Including me. We started grabbing lunch together sometimes. Then eventually he came over to our house for barbecues. Emma liked him too. Actually, liked isn't the right word. She lit up around him. I noticed it, but I dismissed it. People enjoy charismatic people. That's normal. He'd make her laugh from across the room and she'd roll her eyes while smiling. Sometimes I'd walk into the kitchen and find them talking while everyone else sat outside. Nothing inappropriate. Nothing obvious. Just comfortable. I remember one evening joking. "Emma, I think you like him more than me." She laughed. Daniel laughed. Emma said, "Don't flatter yourself." Everyone laughed. Funny how some moments come back years later and completely change shape. Looking back now, I hate how many signs I ignored. Emma started mentioning Daniel randomly. Daniel said this. Daniel thinks that. Daniel had the funniest story today. At first I didn't question it because I was the one who brought work home. She knew my coworkers. Then she started texting more. Always smiling slightly at her phone. Tilting the screen away without realizing it. I noticed but never confronted her. Because suspicion feels ugly when you love someone. You feel guilty even thinking it. I told myself I was becoming insecure. Work had been stressful. I was sleeping badly. Meanwhile, Daniel started acting strange too. Not distant exactly. Almost too friendly. He'd ask unusually specific questions. Emma still painting? How's Emma feeling after that doctor appointment? Tiny things. Things I didn't remember mentioning. I convinced myself I was imagining it. People don't want to believe betrayal while it's still small enough to stop. Because once you acknowledge it, your whole life becomes unstable. The first real crack happened on a Tuesday. Such a stupid ordinary day. I was at work when Daniel got up and left his phone on his desk. It buzzed. I wasn't trying to snoop. I wasn't. But I glanced over automatically. The preview only showed a few words. I miss you already, Red Heart. No name. Just that. My stomach dropped for reasons I couldn't explain. Then I immediately felt ashamed. Because people have girlfriends. People date. People receive messages. I remember thinking, what the hell is wrong with me? Then Daniel came back and grabbed the phone quickly. Too quickly. I looked at him. He looked at me. For maybe half a second something happened between us. Fear. Not mine. His. Then he smiled. Women are exhausting. I laughed because that was the expected response. But for the rest of the day I kept hearing those words in my head. I miss you already? I still don't know why my chest started hurting before I even understood anything. I began noticing things after that. Not because I suddenly became smarter. Because once doubt enters your head, it starts connecting pieces you ignored. I asked the question I already knew would destroy me. Did you sleep with him? She didn't answer. She didn't need to doubt. I don't remember everything after that. Pieces only. Like broken glass scattered around my memory. Me yelling. Emma crying. A chair falling over. My hands shaking so badly I couldn't hold my phone. I remember saying, "How long?" And hearing, 8 months. 8 months. 8 months of kisses goodbye before work. 8 months of dinners. Birthdays. Movies with the kids. Family photos. 8 months of lying directly into my face. I asked if she loved him. I shouldn't have asked. I knew I shouldn't. But pain makes people ask questions that only hurt more. She cried harder. Then whispered, I don't know. I think that hurt more than hearing yes. Because yes means certainty. I don't know means confusion. And somehow I suddenly felt like I was competing against a ghost version of my own life. I drove around for hours afterward. No destination. Just driving. I parked near a gas station eventually, and sat there staring through the windshield. I cried harder than I ever had in my life. Ugly crying. Hands over my face. Couldn't breathe properly. I kept replaying every memory. Vacations. Anniversaries. Her sleeping beside me. I started questioning everything. Was any of it real? Did she laugh at me afterward? Did Daniel? Were people secretly aware? I felt humiliated. That's the part people don't talk about. Betrayal isn't only sadness. It's embarrassment. You feel stupid. Small. Like everyone else read a script you somehow missed. Around midnight my phone rang. Emma. Again. 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 32 missed calls. I turned the phone over and sat there in silence. I couldn't even hear her voice. I wasn't ready to hear reality become real. The confrontation with Daniel happened 2 days later. At work. I walked straight into his office and closed the door. He looked terrified immediately. Good. For once I wanted someone else to feel sick. I asked him directly. How long? 8 months. Same answer. I stared at him. Then I asked, were you ever going to tell me? He looked down. No answer. No? Quietly he said. No. I wanted to hit him. God, I wanted to. But suddenly anger disappeared and something worse replaced it. Disappointment. I trusted this man. He sat at my dinner table. Played with my kids. Drank my beer. Shook my hand. I asked why. And his answer still makes me angry years later. We didn't mean for it to happen. That sentence again. As if responsibility somehow evaporates when feelings appear. I walked out before I did something I'd regret. Behind me he kept saying my name. I never turned around. The kids knew something was wrong almost immediately. Children always know. My daughter asked why I was sleeping in the guest room. My son asked why Mom cried all the time. I lied. Constantly. Daddy's stressed. Mom's tired. Everything's okay. Nothing was okay. Emma kept trying to talk. Trying to explain. Saying she felt lonely. Saying I became distant. Saying she felt invisible. Part of me understood. I had worked longer hours. I had become distracted. Routine had replaced attention. But another part of me kept thinking. You could have talked to me. You could have screamed at me. You could have hated me. Instead, you chose this. Friends started noticing things too. Family started asking questions. I felt ashamed telling anyone. Like saying it out loud somehow confirmed I wasn't enough. I know now that's irrational. Back then I believed it completely. Months passed and I became someone I barely recognized. I stopped eating properly. Lost weight. Stopped sleeping. I checked phones obsessively. Checked emails. Questioned everything. Even harmless things. If Emma went to the grocery store longer than expected, my heart started racing. If she smiled at a text message, I felt sick. I hated that version of myself. I hated becoming suspicious. Paranoid. Angry. I started therapy eventually because I couldn't function anymore. The therapist asked something that destroyed me. She asked, "When did you stop feeling safe?" Not when did she cheat. Not when did you get angry. When did you stop feeling safe? And I realized safety had disappeared completely. Not only from my marriage. From me. I didn't trust my judgment anymore. Because if I missed something this huge, what else could I miss? That thought followed me everywhere. We tried counseling. People always ask that. Yes. We tried. Emma ended things with Daniel immediately after I found out. She begged me to stay. Begged for another chance. For months we sat in small offices discussing trust and pain and communication. Some days I thought we might survive. Some days I looked at her and still saw my wife. Then other days I'd see a stranger. A complete stranger. Eventually I realized something painful. Love wasn't actually gone. That would have been easier. I still loved her. I just couldn't rest beside her anymore. I couldn't look at her phone lighting up without feeling panic. I couldn't hear Daniel's name without feeling rage. Love stayed. Trust didn't. And without trust, every normal moment felt poisoned. Every laugh. Every kiss. Every silence. We separated a year later. Not dramatically. No screaming. No shattered plates. Just exhaustion. Pure exhaustion. The kids split time between us now. We act polite. We discuss schedules and school events and birthdays. Sometimes I still catch myself looking at her the way I used to. Then I remember. And something closes again. It's been years now. Daniel left the company shortly afterward. I never spoke to him again. Sometimes people ask whether I forgave Emma. I honestly don't know. I stopped thinking about forgiveness as some finish line. Pain doesn't disappear because you decide it should. Some things just become quieter. That's all. I still think about that laptop closing. That stupid sound. Funny what your brain keeps. Not our wedding day. Not our first kiss. Not the happiest moments. Just a sharp plastic click. The sound of a normal life ending before I even knew it was ending.